Well, hi everybody. How are you guys? Man, I'm back. I am grandkidded to the top of my tippy top for a while. But grandkidded out, I guess. No, not really. I had a great time with them. I really did. It was funny though to imagine that I have saw all five of them within a couple days span. Like I was on Wednesday of last week, I was still in Phoenix with Layla and Lachlan, and by Friday I was with McLean and Rook and Rory in Eugene, and that was pretty spectacular to be able to do that. So, but yes, I'm back, and it's good to see everybody. Let's checking in with how everybody's doing here. We have Tamara's here and Linda. How you guys? Thank you so much. I hope everybody that I could send got my little blurbs that I put in when I couldn't be here on Bondi Vet. I need to stop watching stuff on YouTube. Oh no, Linda's hooked on something at Bondi Vet. I don't know that one. I don't need to get hooked on anything else. And I think I saw Tamara and Fatima, and I saw Angie here. And there's Julia. Yay. Hi, Julia. Nice to have you here. Uh-huh. Everybody's saying hi. There's Larry. Yay. Gosh, what do you, Angie, Larry, what do you guys think about our turn in the weather? I'm glad we drove home. We drove home yesterday. um, Bryn and Danny got back from their overnight thing and stuff, and we got done with everything. We decided that we would drive back last night because we knew that it was supposed to get cold and the weather was supposed to turn, and we didn't want to necessarily drive on the holiday day. So we had a really easy drive home, but it did. We left Eugene at 4:20. Came through Gig Harbor, stopped to get food and stuff, and then it was an easy drive home, so it was home in 5 hours, which is cool, and that was nice, unusual, but still today the wind and the cold and the rain. Whew, yes, there's Larry and Julia, everybody, and there's Susan. Hi, you guys. Oh my gosh. Welcome to Keep It Real, episode 389, Monday Mandalas. Yes, 389. I'm off, because there. Oh, author, artist Larry. There. And Fatima's here. I'm just checking through how everybody's doing. Oh. She was born this way. DJ Goo. Yes, DJ Goo. Here I am. DJ Goo. Oh my gosh. Baby Goo is such hilarious. And there's Madonna. Yay. Madonna's here. And Maria. Hi. Lupe. Yay. Lupe's here. Good job. Everybody. This just makes my day. 3 a.m. is not good. Well, you can rest after this. What kind of fur baby do you have? Who are you talking to fur babies on, Angie? Aldo is here. He went with us to Eugene because he could do that drive. We didn't take him to Phoenix. He stayed with a rover family in Gig Harbor that watched him for a week, and he got to play with an 11-month-old golden retriever and a 12-year-old chihuahua, and he was in heaven. Oh, I'm glad you liked the intro. Thank you very much. Hey, there's Madonna, 2 cats, Siamese, Calico. Oh my gosh, yay. Bucket filling time. Oh, I think you're gonna like this story tonight. Yeah, I have just one, but I want to go through the art in it really, and I'll tell you a little bit about the artists and some stuff, and it just really amazed me. And kitty second pains. Oh yeah. Aldo doesn't like cats, and Bryn has a cat she calls BK. Well, Dottie's her one cat, and that Dottie's pretty good, but Dottie knows that Aldo's coming over, so Dottie just goes outside and just goes and cruises the neighborhood, chases the wild turkeys and stuff like that. BK, on the other hand, doesn't want to leave the house. BK is an all black cat, and BK stands for bitchy kitty. Yeah, because BK is a bitchy kitty. And man, Aldo and that cat do not get along. It's just pretty funny. So I got the email. Good. Hey, yay! Anthony's here. Nice to have you here. I watched a little bit of your on the lily pad. Why can't I think of the name of the flower today that you were doing? Okay. Grandma brain right there. I can't even remember. Hey, Anthony. Lotus. There, I got it. It's a lotus. I got it. Even before Lindy probably jumped in and told me. There, yes. Cold and windy. Good. Yay. So, today I have a few pieces from people, unless somebody sends, I checked, that's why I was checking the email just before I went live to make sure there wasn't anything else, hadn't missed anybody. I got Larry's, I got Madonna's, I got Susan, and I got Tamra. This time, or the new ones. There we go. I have one thing of mine to show you that's related to the book, the artwork, because in the book that I'm going to show, I've got some pictures from Oaxaca from this artist community to show that relates to kind of the art that you're going to see in this book, which is really kind of cool because they're very different cultural art. And gosh, it's so great. Oh, thank you, Tamara. I missed you guys too. I really did. Slate's beautiful nut furby column. During story time, kick me, I snore. Kick you if you snore. Well, cheers to everybody. I got my Krabbies. We picked up a bunch before we went down there. Stick a marshmallow. Chihuahua is almost oh yeah, the Chihuahua that is at the house where Aldo goes and stays. She's 12 and she normally doesn't come downstairs at all. She hardly I mean, she's very slow. Aldo comes and all of a sudden she's out running in the backyard and playing with that. And Tucker, the 11-month-old golden retriever puppy that thinks Aldo is just the bee's knees. Lotus, yes, yeah, it was very. I love that lotus. I have a really cool, I'll have to show sometime, of really cool picture of lotus flowers that I did. Either I photographed them in California at a museum I was down there, or it was in Portland someplace. I can't remember. I think my brain cells are kind of tapped out. They get that way when they've been, yeah. The 3 days with the McLean is 7, and Rook is 4, and Rory will be 2 in April. And oh my gosh, those guys just go, go, go. It's crazy. It's posted yet. Send it. Of course, someone may send in a picture made a long time ago. If it's not, no, yes, please. I won't show it tonight because I got them all for tonight. But on Sundays, any art that you want to share, it does not have to be current. It does not have to be related to what I'm showing. It's anything that you want to share that shares a little bit of who you are, or you and your art journey, or any kind of stuff like that. That's what we want to see. That's what I want to see. Somebody else on here may veto me and tell me I'm full of beans, but that's what I say. So, yeah. Lots of art tonight. I can't wait. Yes. I want to see. Oh, okay. I'll send. what she said. So yeah, Anthony, send stuff in and I'll show it next Sunday, not tonight, because I was scrambling around. I did, Larry. I I get a little brownie points. I did a sound check beforehand. I did a little recording and checked and everything because I had been gone. so I was like, woohoo, yay, it all worked. Man, but I couldn't believe I got to Eugene and had no microphone. I mean, I had but I didn't have a headset that had a microphone in it. I just had other stuff. And I could have used probably the microphone that's on the laptop, but that's just not the same. So, boo, so patient. Live art in the subject line. Yes. Thank you. What Larry says. Yes, what Larry says. Okay, you guys. So we are here now. Too bad. Time sensitive alert showed it's supposed to say. And it is that time of night for this. Yay. If it's going to do what I want it to. Okay, so this is from Tamara, and she sent it to me and said that this is a piece that Ayak and Ayak is her goddaughter, and she did together in the holidays. It is a 60 centimeter square canvas, and Ayak chose the colors. She was in a very happy mood. Yay! Yes. Oh, Tamara, did you set up your Flickr account? That's nice. Put it in the chat. Put the link in the chat if you can. You should be able to. I hope so. If not, email it to me and I'll put it in next time. Okay? So I love this. I love the hands together, touching and reaching out and all the colors. I love just the way. And then there's a mermaid there's a mermaid. Who else sees a mermaid? Raise your hand. I do. Look again. That is so cool. Okay. That is Goo and I did some art together also. She's not even 2 yet. Yeah. It's got a lot of hands on it, but not, yeah. And my watercolors needed to kind of be cleaned off after she was done. But I love this. I like the yellow little bits in the corner that just kind of highlight and bring it all in. It's so cool. So Tamara had that, and then the mermaid is in the middle. Yep. Next we have, I think, Susan's. Now Susan had on her email, why don't I have what Susan wrote on her email? Maybe she didn't write anything to me on her email. Hang on. Why is that? There we go. Susan. There we go. She said, this is the second painting, is the 6x6 tile where I tossed hot colors in it and it was gifted, called Resting Phoenix. Oh, that's right. That's what this one's called, Resting Phoenix, of Susan's. I love this. I can see the Resting Phoenix. Very cool. She had sent me 2 pieces in last time and I missed one, so let me know. So I fixed it. Yay. this is on a 6x6 tile. Yes, 6x6 tile where I tossed hot colors. You tossed them. I love it. I tossed them. Yeah, this is my sister Patty would love this one. These are Patty colors. My mom always had us in our colors that fit us perfectly, you know. How that goes. And let's see. Then the next one, these three are from Madonna. And let's see, Madonna's email, if I can find it, said, let's see. A few paintings she's painted. The elephants, the giraffe, the elephants and giraffe are acrylics on canvas. So I put these together. You know, I love them. And that look on the giraffe's face is just perfect. As the elephant too. You really get the texture on the elephant's skin. And having seen them up close and personal, yeah, it is just like that. And their colors go that way. That was what fascinated me so much when I was in Africa, was to see how different the colors can be within the elephants. Even though we were at the same game preserve and different ones, different families had different colorings. It was just like us. It was so cool. And the giraffes are all interesting because they don't go together in a family group and they don't stick together. They'll come together in a day and hang out with whoever's in the hood, and then they'll go away, and if they come back to a spot the other day, whoever's hanging in there is who they'll hang out with. They're not very cliquey. It's kind of funny. And then her next one is, and the bridge is acrylic on canvas, and the goddess painting is a watercolor on watercolor paper, and the butterfly is wet felted sheep's wool on a felted base. Wow. Oh my gosh. Having been around felting all my life, with my mother being a master weaver and spinner and all of that good stuff, it's just amazing to see how you have taken that aspect of felting. I mean, Mom would make hats and do stuff like that. She was pretty traditional in her weaving and fabric, fiber art. She was very traditional. This would have been way outside of her comfort zone, but she really would have loved it, appreciated the work into it. It's gorgeous, Madonna. It's absolutely beautiful. Wow. And that goddess, look at that owl. Okay, I gotta make the owl bigger to see, peek at the owl. Let's move over there. I want to see the owl bigger. Look at that. And the waterfall. Oh, those. And there's another owl coming from the moon in the goddess's head. Oh my goodness. Okay, move your name. I'll put your name up here. There we go. Oh, look at that. That is so pretty. So pretty. Yay. You've been reverted to a third grader? What? Why is... Yeah, I know the bridge, especially, Lupe, I thought it was a photograph too when she sent it to me. I really did. Oh my gosh. That's just amazing. Beyond exactly. I still want to know why Larry's a third grader. Bird from Moon is perfect. Okay, so the third grader is coming up then. No, Larry. So Larry has two pictures. One is, I'll move myself out of the way. So it is his Valentine's present to Angie. And this is, what did, let's see. Larry, I had it right. I forgot to copy the text that you guys send me for everybody. There we go. This was this one. The one is Angie's mom and her brother and Angie. Someone's birthday. Where did that email go? Huh. From Larry, I had that one. Angie's Valentine present. And then the other one is at Limekiln Point Lighthouse, which is a lighthouse on San Juan Island. Isn't it on San Juan? Yes, it is. It is on San Juan Island. Because I have a photograph that I took of it too. And if you actually stand at that lighthouse and you look looking out west and to the north, you actually see Vancouver Island and part of British Columbia. It's really pretty. It's in the San Juans, but it's San Juan Island. And Limekiln Point Lighthouse is in a state park up there, Limekiln State Park. Yeah, so nice. I love the colors in the sunsets. You really caught what we get in our sunsets up there and around here. Larry, that's beautiful. Okay. So this next bit that I have, let's see where we're going. Giving up. Yep, giving up my so-called art. No way, Julia, no way. Yeah, isn't it great fun? So, in kindergarten, I want to get lost on that bridge. Heck. So what I've got up next are not pieces of art, but it is photographs that I took in this village that was south of Oaxaca. That is an artisan's village that specializes in their wood carvings that they do. And everybody in the village is kind of around this thing, and they have, it's a self-sustaining type village. They grow the trees, and they're actually growing more of them now because they had harvested too many of them and they were running out. But they can track this back to pre-Aztec time of people in this village doing this kind of art. They grow the plants that make the paint. About the only thing that they bring in is probably the gold leaf you'll see, and maybe some for the blue for the indigo. But they also, it's so self-sustaining that not only do they grow the trees to do the wood carvings in, but they also help support the village by the vegetables and everything that they grow to make the dyes. They also grow these foods, and they have this amazing restaurant that we ate at down there. And you would never know that this restaurant was there. It was like through this dirt road, and all of a sudden we pull into this like a dirt field, and we're like, are we supposed to be here? And you walked across and around the corner, and all of a sudden there were these tables out in the open with this kind of pergolas over the top with everybody bustling around cooking and stuff, and open air pots and all this. And then we went, after we left the restaurant, we went to the actual village where they had the artist co-op. And this is what I want to show you, because it's similar to the art that we're going to see in the book, but the art from the book is from a completely different culture, but that connection. So that's what these pictures here. So this is the wood that they use, plus some of the dye that they use, and make for painting the pieces. And so there you'll see how they're all crunched up, and then they'll add different mordants to it. And Madonna, you'll know this from your, your weaving and stuff, the felting stuff that you did. And anybody else who does that, the different kind of mordants, I would either use cream of tartar or alum, and it changes the way that the colors look, that the dye takes to the wool or takes to whatever they're doing. It changes the color of the dye in the plant with a different mordant. And this lady was doing the gold leaf on this dragon, and this dragon they'd been working on it for over 6 months. It was a commission piece for somebody in Germany, and it was upwards of $24,000. Yeah. And you can see the work that she's doing on it, and you'll start to see the tiny little pieces and the thing. So it's all hand carved first, and they will carve it. They'll start to carve, and then if the wood splits, they'll take the shavings off and they'll stuff it back in, and they'll put it glue so it's all the same wood, so they don't have to use any other kind of wood. And so she was painting this, and here's one. I wanted to show you the detail of this thing, and it was not a small piece at all, but you can see how it had been done. So it had been carved and then constructed and sanded, and had gone through several different artisans to get to that point. So they have artists that rotate through the carving, and they have masters and they have apprentices, and the masters all help the apprentices and watch over them, and it goes from person to person to person to person within this co-op, so that it's and then as one gets best at one thing or another, then that's their specialty, and then a piece will go through and it'll dry, they'll do it again, it'll carve more, they'll sand it again, it'll dry further, they'll put a primer on it, it'll dry, they'll do another part to it, and then it goes to the painters who will do all of these kind of detail work. And I'll show you here, there's a painter coming up. And then she was in the final stages for this one with the gold leaf that she was doing for this piece. As you can see, just amazing. But this gal was working on one of the big jaguars, and you can again see the details, the colors. These are all handmade paints from plants that they do. And she was working away on this. Parts were covered, parts still had to be done, gone over again. That bull was huge in the back there. That was in a whole nother level of the carving area was downstairs. And then she was working on this and still had quite a ways to go. And the paints were all laid out. Another thing, it was just one of those fabulous, amazing kind of places to see, and to see the artwork of it. Was so incredible. We came home with a little bear, like this big. He's upstairs. Yeah, that's what I came home with. Carried it all the way back. And then this was the outside of the co-op that you came, and the village was there that had been a kind of a warehouse, and they had it all painted, and across the street was where they had the drying some of the wood and whatnot. It was very cool. All right, so that was just a piece of wood that I liked to take a picture of. Okay, so I wanted to show you that because it has a lot to do with the book. I mean, not just the artwork. I was so connected by how this kind of artwork matched with the kind of artwork that is in this book that we're going to see tonight. I'm just catching up. 1960. Yes. Alan's birthday. Oh. I like how that's my brother Alan. He's 3 and I'm in. Larry, check there. I'm back. I'm way back in the chat here. I'm still back on Larry's thing. So you can send in your writing, Linda. You can send in a story. You can send in a poem. You know, we'll take it. I'm proud. See the actual pigment process and carve. Yes, it was so amazing, Susan, to see that and to talk to the artists and to have them take us through it and to have, I mean, it was just pretty amazing. And then I went to a village that did the same thing with the weaving, and they still card the wool by hand and they still wash the wool in the rivers, and it was just, yeah, that dragon was stunning. It is so, you know, how mandala art in different places comes from so many people do it in so many different areas. And then there's the dot like art that my sister Patty is doing, is that dot art and things. This is kind of like that. I'll go blind doing that. Patience. They really do had so much patience. They would. I saw young men that were the carvers that were like, I would say 16, 17, 18-year-old young men, and some that were younger that were doing some part were learning, and there were little kids running around too that had little kind of jobs and stuff that they had to do, that they would come after school and they got to do part of it, and they had little tiny things that they were working on. It was just really kind of cool to see how much goes into it. Oaxaca, yeah, it's in Oaxaca, southern Mexico, about an hour and a half plane flight south of Mexico City. Kind of just if you drive like down to the village where I was, which was about a 45-minute hour drive south of Oaxaca, where for this, and then from that point, if you drive an hour and a half west, you'd be at the beach, or an hour and a half east, you'd be at a beach. But I wasn't at the beach. I was in the middle of the jungle area, kind of Oaxaca. So, okay, I'm just checking, making sure I don't miss anything. All right, I don't have, my hands aren't in strike. Okay, so this book I'm going to read tonight is by a lady named, let me get to her site. Here we go. Her name is Chitra Sundar, and she is an internationally published, award-winning author of over 50 books for children. She's also an oral storyteller. Her stories are usually set in India and often in Indian families, and are inspired by her own growing up in India. It says she's an Indian-born British author and storyteller, and she's published over 30, well, when this book was, it says 30 books, it says 50 there. And she's inspired by the rich heritage of epics and folk tales from India. So she is the author. The illustrator is this gal right here, Poonam Mistry. And if I can get this larger to go larger, will it go larger? Come on, go larger. You can see how her artwork is similar to the detail work of the work in Oaxaca. She is a British illustrator of Indian heritage with a degree in graphic design and illustration, and her work is heavily influenced by nature, folklore, and traditional Indian art. Just pretty amazing. Let me go back to her homepage. So she has a lot of interesting things too on this. So the name of the book, let me get my little iPad to get going here. It went to sleep on me. Ba-doop-doop. I actually have the book in hand, but I also have it on screen share so you can see it better. Yay! So I'm actually going to read it from the book because I can see it better then. But then you'll be able to see the illustrations better and more clearly than when I have the book on my desk. But I wanted to start this story from the end. Anybody else ever read the books backwards? My mom always read magazines from the end of them first. But Chitra, the author, wrote this. Dear reader, I wrote this book to show the wonders of our polar lands. This is where we find the pristine white of snow, the trembling blue of sea, and the shimmering green and pink of northern lights. This is where we find the majestic polar bears, the largest land carnivores. Did you know that polar bear cubs are no bigger than guinea pigs when they are born? Although the Arctic is very cold, a layer of fat under the polar bear's skin, called blubber, keeps them warm. Polar bears have black skin to soak up heat from the sun, and their hollow fur only appears white because it reflects light from the snow. In fact, if polar bears were made to live in hot climates, their fur would grow algae and turn green. This book is more than a story about Mama Bear and her two curious cubs. Like the young cubs, I hope that you and other children who read it will understand that this natural world is our only home. Even if we are the smallest predator on this planet, we don't live alone and should only ever take what we need. I hope this story inspires you to be curious about where you live and with whom you share these lands, skies, and oceans. And above all, I hope we can all work together to care for this awe-inspiring planet that is our home. Chitra. And the color palette is completely different than the color palette that I saw in Oaxaca, or the color palette that she showed on her website of a lot of her things that are based in Indian culture. But she took, the illustrator took a color palette to represent the polar areas, and she did it brilliantly. But the art form is so similar. It just, between to represent all those areas from Mexico to India to the polar region to everywhere, it just, yeah, the connection was not lost on me, and I hope it's not lost on you guys. So let me get one last thing I have to do here, and that is, oh, there I am. Move myself over here so I can read this book to you and not be lost. There I am. Oh, here it is. You're snug with me. Let's see. Yes, you're snug with me. When the willows turned crimson, Mama Bear dug into the snowdrifts not far from the sea. She made a den just big enough for her to turn over and waited for the falling snow to seal it shut. As the cold set in, she gave birth to 2 bear cubs. They couldn't see or hear anything yet, but soon they grew. "Hush," whispered Mama Bear. "You're snug with me." As winter turned colder, the cubs explored their frozen den. "Mama, what lies beyond here?" they asked. "Above us is a land of ice and snow," said Mama Bear. The cubs shivered. "Don't be afraid," said Mama Bear. "The drifts bring us hard snow, so we can safely walk this land." Look at this page. "Can we wander where we please?" asked the cubs. "Only where the land will let us walk," Mama Bear replied. "But hush now, you are snug with me." Look at this page. As the nights grew longer, the cubs turned restless. "What lies beyond the ice and snow?" they asked. "Beyond the snow is the ocean," said Mama Bear. "It is full of ice from long ago." The cubs shuddered. "Don't be afraid," said Mama. "As long as the ice stays frozen, we will never go hungry." "Will the ice melt?" asked the cubs. "Only if we don't take care of it," Mama Bear replied. "But hush now, you are snug with me." As the snow fell harder, the cubs grew curious. "Will it always be dark?" they asked. "It is dark because we are far from the sun during the winter months." The cubs trembled. "Don't be afraid," said Mama Bear. "The earth dances on her toes, and when she tilts, our nights will get shorter and spring will return." "What if the earth falls down?" asked the cubs. "She has never faltered in her steps before," Mama Bear replied. "But hush now, you are snug with me." Look at that. Oh. As lights dazzled in the polar sky, the cubs wondered about the world outside. "Will we be alone on the snow?" they asked. "We're never alone in this world," said Mama Bear. "We share the land with foxes and snowshoe hares. Whales, seals, and walruses swim in our seas. Terns and geese fly through the skies." The cubs gasped. "Don't be afraid," said Mama Bear. "We are the biggest and bravest of all the creatures on the ice." "Is everything ours then?" asked the cubs. "We should only ever take what we need," replied Mama Bear. "But hush now, you are safe, snug with me." As icy winds swept across the land, the cubs imagined their life above ground. "Will you stay with us always?" they asked. "Only until you're ready to be on your own," said Mama Bear. The cubs whimpered. "Don't be afraid," said Mama Bear. "I'll teach you everything I know before I leave." "What if we don't want to be on our own?" the cubs asked. "You'll find a friend when you need one," Mama Bear replied. "But hush now. You are snug with me." Outside, the nights had shortened a little. The air smelled different. Mama Bear knew it was time to welcome spring. She squeezed out of the den and rolled in the snow to freshen up. The cubs peeped outside. Everything around them sparkled bright. "Don't be afraid," called Mama Bear. They clambered up, slipping and stumbling on the snow to reach her. Mama Bear watched her cubs take their first steps on the snow and whispered, "You're snug with me." And that's the end of You're Snug with Me. Oh my gosh, you guys, that is some of the most extraordinary art I've seen in a book. Look at how she took the combination and brought in the new color that had been introduced in the polar bear and brought it out to be part of the sun. And here you'll see how the sun was coming up and it was introduced there as she's rolling in the fresh. But one of the pages, I've got a couple of them I want to go back to. How the polar bear is with the hare and they should only take what they need. And the geese come in. But this one of the picture there on the right-hand side, how they did that, how she did that of the whole world, of the continents. I mean, you have South America and Africa and Europe and North America and the polar and Antarctica. Ugh, sorry. Sorry, Tamara, I don't think I see Australia making it in there. Maybe. One of the swirls, maybe it's down there. I love that. And then the other one that is such a favorite of mine is this one. To have made such a landscape with just those designs and the colors, I'm blown away. I was totally blown away. Alas, no Australia. I know, I didn't think I saw Australia. Thanks. Looks like a man in the middle, the earth. Yeah, it's this. She has another book out called You're Safe with Me. That is You're Safe with Me. That's an acclaimed book. I'll have to look up that one, what it is, see if it has more of that kind of art, or if she's did it similarly. Well, it's on my list to grab. I thought it was just extraordinary, and I thought it fit really well with you guys bringing your art in, and then it reminded me of the art that I saw in Oaxaca and how they I mean, just that connection all over. But to tell a story through that, through just that kind of design, and to make an entire picture, and I did, yeah, I'm babbling. Yes, babbling, which is not unusual. Probably my favorite too. I gasped. I'm glad. Bucket's filled. Raise your hand if your bucket was filled. Yay, mine is. I love this book. This literally was one, I think it was up on display at our little local library. Key Peninsula Library is not real big, but boy, do our librarians do a good job of bringing things in and putting things out and setting them up. And I drop by every once in a while and look for something new and that I haven't heard about or hadn't seen, and what could be different. And this was it this time. So I'm really glad I got to share it with all of you guys. You were joined then to Indonesia. It all comes full circle, connected by the creativity of humanity. Yes, exactly. It all comes full circle. There we go. There we go. Connected by the creativity of humanity. How wonderful is that? That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you, you guys. I am so thankful that you guys joined me tonight and everybody showed up. I was delayed and put up with me being delayed, but my grandkid time was so good. You know, Grandma Goo, Gangsta Grandma, whatever you want to call me. It really re-energizes me. But boy, Bob and I were ready to come home and put things back together here. So yeah, I should be about another. Bryn's birthday is March 9th. My youngest daughter, she'll be 35. So I asked her what she wanted for her birthday, and she said, come watch the kids again. So that may be what I'm doing on that weekend around her birthday, to do that for her. And then Layla, I believe, is coming up around, she's going to come visit with Mrs. Sheppercon, because that time is coming up in March when Mrs. Sheppercon will be back to visit again, I'm sure. So Layla will probably be up here around that time. But everybody, I am looking forward to seeing you all again on Thursday. I hope you have an amazing week of things. Let's see what else is going on. Anybody else have stuff, need some milk duds and jujubes going on this? Oh, thank you, Susan. She says she feels so centered after my readings. That's just makes me feel really good. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that's kind of what I always found, that when I read at school to the kids, I would go sit in my classroom when I had the rocking chair in my classroom, and even when I first had my rocking chair in the library before I had to take it out, but I would go to my reading chair. It seemed to center everybody. The kids all seemed to know what that meant and come to that spot, and they could come in and circle around and be ready to sit down and see what the story was about. And it can be a time where, man, I can't recommend it enough, you guys. If you are ever feeling completely scattered, just pick yourself up and go plop yourself in the middle of the kids section of your local library and read a few books and see what it does for you. It's pretty amazing. It is pretty amazing. You'll get a lot of inspiration, but you'll also find a whole lot of joy. And it's just an easing. I find it just a way to ease myself a lot, but that's me. I'm kind of a book addict. Anyway, everybody, more gnomes. So I will be back Thursday with some funny stories that I found. I think there'll be a hoot. And we'll do Thursday normal story time. I think I'll have like I should have 3 books that night because we'll just be doing stories. But back next Sunday for another show and tell night. So as you know, as Larry put it in earlier, you images by Gretchen at iCloud.com. I think and then in the subject line, make sure you put live art. It helps a lot. That is my email, and you put live art in the subject line. Then I can filter for that, and I can get it all set up so that I can make a scene for you that has your channel name on it, or any channel that you would prefer on it. Let me know if you'd rather have it someplace else where people can know whose it is. I put your name, and then I can have that there so that I can show your things. And sometimes I remember to put in what you tell me in the email. Sometimes. Yeah. I was still a little sleepy today. Anyway, everybody, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Have a delightful week. It's supposed to get real chilly McWilly around here. Like, I live in an area that is kind of in a rain shadow, so it's only supposed to get a trace of snow. Larry might be getting a little more snow than I am later on. Larry and Angie might. I know that White Pass and Snoqualmie, Mount Baker was expected to get like 30 inches. They're supposed to get a foot of snow at White Pass. They already had traffic advisory on it last night when we were coming home. So it's getting cold. It's getting down in the 20s, and the wind's whipping up around here. So Bob chopped some more wood today, and I'm gonna hunker down, get some stuff done, get some more photos edited, and get them up on my website and do some work there. But I will be back Thursday with more stories, and I hope you'll come join me. I hope to catch some of your lives and things you're doing this week. Put them in the chat. If you have something coming up, please post it in our chat so that we can all keep track of it, and we'll be there if we can and support. I thank you so much for the likes and subscribes and sharing this out with people. Anybody else you think you wouldn't know it, but what's more important to me than a bunch of people being subscribe to my channel is that you guys are here, and that it's important to you, and that it speaks to you, and that we fill each other's buckets, and that's what we're here for. So thank you so much for being part of this group, being part of Story and Art, and for keeping it real. And until the next time, keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. It's all around you. But the first place you'll find it is if you just go look in the mirror. I'll see you next time.
In the heat of the night, we could get lost in all the lights and sounds. Feeling alright, we won't go home, we will just stay here downtown. There's not just stars on the boulevard, they're in the light in your eyes. Oh, we don't need no black cards, I just need you by my side. We could be shameless, famous, running cool, with a love that leaves us weightless. Ooh, drop dead gorgeous, wow. Ooh, you got me feeling starstruck.
I'm not going to post that comment, Linda. Ha. Yes, it is in your mirror.